What's up, guys? The Lazy Goldmaker here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think is the best setup if you're making a concentration alt from scratch, or if you want to change some of them over. Then there is a setup that I would prefer to have if I was going into 12.1 and beyond. Now, obviously, one choice gives itself automatically: Alchemy. Alchemy is so much better than any other profession right now, and even though profits have been trending down, obviously in Alchemy as well, it is still better than anything else, and that will remain so in 12.1. Alchemy is by far the most used profession as far as the output goes. People are going to use this throughout the season. So it is just the best option, and I generally prefer potions. I think potions are the best one across my crafters. All of the best profits are from my potion crafters, and the absolute best one is from the ones who can do the potion of recklessness. If I go to one of my void crafters here, we can see that it's all the way up at 5 gold, 50 silver, which is quite good. So the builds are very similar. There are two builds you can do that are really good in my opinion, and that's you either focus on Potion of Recklessness. This recipe you buy from the Singularity vendors. You need Voidlight Marl to buy it on your alts. So if you don't want to farm a bunch of Voidlight Marl specifically to get this recipe on multiple alts, then you can do Light's Potential, which is fine, but it's slightly worse, as you can see here. This character doesn't have the specific bonuses for Light Potential. I believe this guy does, but he's missing some other bonuses because I haven't maxed out everything here. Missing some skill bonuses and some alchemical mastery. I don't have max resourcefulness because I went into flasks on this guy, and flasks are just horrible compared to the potions. So Light's Potential you learn from the trainers. This one is really, really easy to get, or you learn it from the Cauldron, and you can just do it. Now, for the builds are very, very similar for both the potions. So the most important part is the Potion Prowess 3. You want to put 10 points in the base node, and then 10 points in the node on the side you choose. And then you want to max out the Prolific Potioneer, the final node, because this one gives you multicraft. It gives you +3 multicraft for each point, and it gives you significant bonuses at the maximum. Here you can get more void potions when multicrafting. So for void potions, if you're getting Potion of Recklessness, you're going void potions. So you're doing this: 10 points in Potion Prowess, 10 points in Path of Void, and then maxing out Prolific Potioneer. And then once you've done that, I would prefer putting 10 points in Alchemical Mastery and then maxing out the Resourcefulness bonus from Reuse for potions. And then after that, I would put more points in here to get more skill, and then max out this one for some Ingenuity bonuses, the Cunning Potioneer as well. And then eventually you can just fill out everything else, but this is sort of the main, like, semi-maxed out concentration crafter. Then obviously for the light potions, if you're doing Light's Potential, it's the exact same thing. You're just doing it on the left side here. You're putting 10 points in Potion Prowess, 10 points in Path of Light, and then maxing out Prolific Potioneer. And then you get the resourcefulness from Reuse after that, and then you can max out this node, which gives you some nice reductions to the concentration used, which increases your concentration value quite significantly. Obviously, make sure that you grab a multicraft tool. It is very, very important to have a multicraft tool, and grab any you can. Upgrading the other pieces is also nice. Obviously, you can make a profit with just a multicraft tool. That's rare. If you do have time, then try to farm the epic one. The Fused Vitality is much faster to farm now, or is going to be now in 12.0.7, where you can use all of your Charge of Dun in one run, which is very, very nice. Now, for the second choice of profession, this one is a little bit harder. There are a couple of different options you can consider. I think there are two main ones that I'm considering, and it's going to be Enchanting and Jewelcrafting. So the reason is that both of these craft item enhancements, as I like to call them, so items that you put, or things that you put on your items. So when people are upgrading their gear a lot, they will use more enchants, they will use more gems. And when do they do that? At the beginning of the season, which means that both Jewelcrafting and Enchanting have potential to see profits go up significantly with the new patch, and they are also some of the ones that have a little bit more demand. So like there's some concentration profits. We can see here it's like 1 up to 2 gold, and this is on a not super optimized character. And then on Enchanting, it's the same story, between 1 and 2 gold concentration values, with like every once in a while some of them go up above that. So we can see that one of these recipes is all the way up at 3 gold at the moment. But both are good in my opinion, and both have the potential to see quite a bit higher concentration values for the initial run of 12.1. But then obviously we're going to see the same trend again with the profits falling. But they are the 2 best secondary options. The last one you could consider is maybe tailoring, but for the cooldown cloth, but I'm not as much of a fan of that. So for enchanting, enchanting is a little bit different. We're focusing on enchants, and that does mean that we are not doing any resourcefulness or not doing any multicraft, I mean. So the first thing you should do is do the Spellbound Shatterer 3. And the most important part, well, you start with just 5 and then you max out the resourcefulness node. And then after that, you can put up to 15 points here and max out Infinite Ingenuity. And then you finish maxing this to have the longest and best buffs. And after that, you go to elevating equipment and you can start unlocking the skill tree here. I prefer getting to unlock like all 3 of the end nodes to get more recipes, because having more recipes is really, really good for enchanting, because they're the vendor or the trainer learned ones have a lot more competition. So if you can get to some of the later ones, or get some that aren't from the tree or from the trainers, that's going to be really, really nice. When you're doing enchanting, make sure that you remember to actually shatter an essence before you're crafting, so you have these buffs, because unlike every other profession in the game, you only get these buffs if you've done a shatter essence. Just make sure you do that. Once you've maxed out here, the buff lasts for 15 minutes. So if it's just a concentration crafter, you can get like 2, 3, 4 rounds of crafting done every other day from the same buff. So it's really, really nice. There are also some recipes you can pick up on the auction house for not particularly much, which is going to help you get some more recipes in your repertoire and help you find some that aren't as contested as the ones from your trainer. We can see here Mark of the World Soul, for instance, has much higher levels than some of the ones that are just available to everyone. So that's for enchanting. Now for jewelcrafting, obviously the focus is going to be on the gems. The kaleidoscopic prism has often been the best one, but I feel like this one is maybe not going to go up as much in value as we see the gems. So I would think preferring to prepare for the gems as my preferred method. We can see that now the profits are really, really close at the moment. So it doesn't really matter, because you're going to start with the same part anyway. As with every other profession in the entire game, we are going to do the part of the tree that gives you crafting stats. So thoughtful throughput, we're putting 5 points in here, and then we're maxing out outrageous output for the multicraft bonuses, which is by far the most important ones. After that, we put another 10 points in here, and we max out the resourcefulness and skilled savings. And then after that, you have a little bit of a choice. Obviously, you can max out the thoughtful throughput and get the concentration bonuses. Which is nice. It will give you your concentration back and essentially sometimes double your concentration value by just letting you do it again for free. So it is quite nice. But you can also, which I slightly prefer, is to unlock recipes. So I would put 10 points in here, and then I would max out one of the middle nodes to unlock all of the recipes, and then go to then put more points into glamorous gems to unlock another color. So essentially, you put 10 points in here. Actually, you start with 0, so you can just pick one color. You max that out, or actually you put it in here, so you can get all of the recipes, and then you go to the next color. Obviously, you can get a little bit of a nice concentration bonus by getting the last 5 points. So if you prefer that, then that is going to be nice. 5% less concentration does increase your concentration value. So that's a little bit of a preference, or whether or not you just want to have more recipes. so that you can pivot to whatever recipe is running a little bit dry and has significantly higher concentration value on the day, which does happen quite a bit. So that's the setup. Now, my personal preference, if I was setting up some more alts, I would probably go with Jewelcrafting. And the main reason for that is that you get so much of the stuff you need just from the profession tree. And that's just very, very nice because it means you just need to do the knowledge. I'm lazy. Obviously, it's in my name. Enchanting does take a little bit more work to unlock the recipes, but if you unlock a bunch of recipes, then Enchanting does have it can be kind of nice. But yeah, I'm definitely preferring Jewelcrafting in general, and in general, I've seen slightly higher profits with Jewelcrafting. But right now, they are very, very close, and depending on what people do, heading into 12.1, we can see one overtake the other. But yeah, I'm definitely if I was setting up more alts now, I would lean Alchemy Jewelcrafting, but I think Alchemy Enchanting is very, very close to that. So yeah, guys, hopefully you learned a little bit and you're ready to take on 12.1. Thanks for watching.